Hello boys and girls of Thameside Primary School. I'm David Back and I'm going to talk to you about architects. Let's do the basics first. One of you asked, what is an architect? An architect is a person who designs buildings. And as we know, ancient buildings have been found to date back thousands of years. That means man has devised skills of being an architect over a very long period of time. Looking at today's interesting and massive structures, it is clear architects have become very good at designing very complex buildings. How do they do it? Well, they do it by drawing plans and elevations in accordance with how they have been taught. Very simply, there are three parts to the design process. 1. Classification of building. You need to know, obviously, what type of building it is you're going to design. A house, church, offices, etc. And you need to have knowledge of the function of those buildings, how they work. Number 2 is function and form. This deals with the creation of space and to the right size and shape so that people can use it and use it properly. Very important. And number 3, the structure. The structure encloses the building space that you've just designed with floors, walls and roof. In conjunction with this, the architect's vision will be deciding on the materials for his design, such as concrete, brick, timber, glass, steel or stone, etc. So, looking at the design process, we have building type, function and form, and structure. They are all interlinked. Now, needless to say, computers are used a great deal for this purpose today. So how does it start? Why do you want to be an architect? Speaking from my experience, I heard the word architect mentioned on the radio in conjunction with somebody that was altering a house. My nanny, who was looking after me at that time, explained what an architect did. And from that moment on, I knew that was the job for me. At my first job interview at a small architect's office in London, the principal architect said to me, there's no glory in this. You'll be slaving over a large drawing board all day long, drawing or colouring up plans. You'll be going out on site, making tea, surveying drains, old factories and going up scaffolding to meet builders, anywhere in London and in all weathers. Well, actually, I couldn't believe my luck. Drawing and going out, colouring up plans, all sounded great. I said, yes, please. So, architecture is one of the most fascinating jobs, encompassing design, art and the sculptural form, and all entwined with the science of structures. And I have not met anybody in architecture who has not been passionate about it. In other words, we love it. If you have thoughts of being an architect, then on leaving school you will need to choose a university offering a course on architecture. It takes years of study, but is worthwhile. I think that answers a question that somebody had asked. I've had some good questions from you, and the next one, is it very tiring? I would say no more so than most skilled creative work. The time flies by. Question, how long does it take from start to end? I assume this means the design and drawings, and it depends on how big the job is, but let's say it is a small individual detached house, like this one that I designed some while ago. Now, arrange it so the screen can see. Now, I hope you can see that here's the sitting room or lounge, here's the kitchen, a small sunny space here with all glazed, the study, office, dining room, stairs, toilet, utility room into the hall, and a double garage there. This is the first floor. Just step back a bit, and as you can see, it's a rather strange shape. That's the shape of the site. Two coloured bathrooms, as you can see, and the bedrooms either side. And the elevations to go with the plan made it look like that. So I hope you can see all that. East, west, north and south elevations. Okay, a few bushes and trees thrown in to make it look interesting. Okay. So, how long does it take? Well, the plans, ground them first, took about 3 days, but quite often it takes less, can take less, quite often more. It just depends on inspiration flowing. And to achieve the elevations after that, probably another day or so. That should lead you to doing a 3D view so the client can appreciate it all. So when this has been done and agreed, the client or owner will ask you to probably to proceed, and you will do another 20 or 30 days drawing, completing large scale drawing details. And to answer another question, yes, the building will normally take a lot longer than drawing. Now, somebody asked, how much money do you get paid? It's very important, this question. There are two parts to this question. One, if you're qualified and you run your own architectural practice or office, then you will be charged what is called a fee. And this fee is based upon the cost of the building as built. So let's say it costs £300,000 to build. You might get a fee of 10%. So 10% of 300 is 30,000. Secondly, you might work in an office where you are an employee amongst other architects. Depending on your age and experience, you may start off at a low wage of £20,000 a year, rising up to anything to 60,000 or over, depending on your abilities and how far you rise in the firm. So the next question, what kinds of buildings do you design? A really good question. This is one of the most exciting things about architecture. One only has to look around the town and countryside, and you will see everything from a shopping complex to a cowshed. But also architects sometimes design quite a bit of the interior of the building, including all sorts of fittings and outstanding designs in furniture. Here is a picture of a chair designed by a famous architect, Mies van der Rohe, and it was exhibited in 1929 in a design pavilion at the Barcelona exhibition. Excellent. It's modern even by today's standards. Beautiful design. Now, here is a model of a building over 3,000 years old. I want you to tell me what you think it is. Who knows what it is? What it is used for, and what country would you find it in? Architects, by the way, love models, so you can get started practicing now. Now here's a question for you. St Paul's Cathedral, the London Eye, the Houses of Parliament and Reading Station architects have designed all of these buildings. True or false? Have a think about that. I'll give you the answer at the end. Now, all the plans and elevations, like the ones I've showed you earlier, are given to builders who understand them and start the building process on site. Now, here's another one as an example. An old traditional country hotel, and this part is existing, and this part is the new part, with the new gable at the end to look like the old ones. And when the tiles are blended in, it will look very similar. Now, a photo of some furniture that I designed for a council chamber. It had to be made to fit between the two large columns either side. Lovely beechwood and a chrome frame. Here is another view of the chamber, and you can see how tight it was to get all the furniture fitted in that shape. So, another very strange building that I did was a floodwater pumping station that had to raise the water to discharge into the River Thames to stop a town flooding. And to do that, it had two huge 2-metre diameter Archimedes screws. Ask your dad to tell you about an Archimedes screw. So you can see there's almost no limit to what an architect is required to design. Last questions. How many buildings have I designed? In low hundreds. What is my favourite thing about my job? Doing a 3D artist's impression of the final design. Hardest part of my job? Well, mostly there are no hard parts, but the worst thing is staring at a blank computer and waiting for your head to start working. Now, a word of warning. You have to be tough to be an architect. Your work is always under scrutiny, and you have to be prepared to be criticised. But you will have successes, and when the building is built, it will be there for all to see for a long time. Now, the answer to the questions: St Paul's, the Eye, Houses of Parliament and Reading Station. All architects? True. Bye bye.